In today's video, I'm going to go through Adelaide Crows and how they played against the Western Bulldogs last week. It was brilliant to watch. And the way they synced up with one another, particularly from the about half back line forward, the synergy they had with their forwards, the synergy they had with one another. But what was really impressive was not only their foot skills, the ability to hand pass and get into space, but the ability to kick off the line. They had an instruction that was really well organised last week. They implemented it extremely well against the Western Bulldogs, and they got them offside. They had a lot of the defenders for Western Bulldogs were pushing back in line with the goals. They just kicked off the line, and they caught them out a number of times, and they're able to get some really high-end, great ball movement from one end to the other. And that's why they're able to have a lot of scoring shots. So let's get into some clips and I'll highlight some really key passages throughout the game. So this is deep inside Western Bulldogs forward 50. So Adelaide's going right of screen. And what I love about this, and hopefully you can see, that's Fogarty there. The ability to actually spread the defence. Now, it's a great one-on-one contest, and you'll see this from Tex Walker on the far wing. But it's the ability to actually just spread and then be able to catch the Western Bulldogs defenders offline. So I'll just run through. So they kick it out wide, and then Tex is one out. So they like to have it set up. They very rarely do you... Well, close to goals you probably see Fogarty or Phil Thorpe or Tex Walker. But throughout the ball movement when they're going forward, they're always isolated. They're never crashing into each other. So it really sets them up structurally really well so they can have one-on-one. And that makes a real key for when Rankin comes in there and Ben Keys are able to get the foot of the ball, be able to get the crumbs and be able to separate and go forward. So it really, really well structured when they go forward. They don't have those three big pillars getting in the way too much. So Tex wins a really good one-on-one out in the wing, but then he just kicks it down the line, and then once again there's one-on-one with Rankin. So really well set up. So they were isolating a lot of the Western Bulldogs. But what I want to take, I'll just go back a fraction. That's Fogarty there. So he's come across on the 45, and now he's in the centre. But his direct opponent is just here. And I love what Rankin does. So this is very, very early in the game. This sets up their first goal. But it was obviously clear instruction from the coaching staff to actually kick off the line. I think Jordan Lewis mentioned it probably near the end of the first quarter. How they're able to lower their eyes, put their players in space, but also kick off the line. So then it just exposed the Western Bulldogs defenders. So Rankin wins a really good one-on-one, as you saw with the kick from Tex Walker. And when he's coming inside forward 50, he's summing up the situation. But what he's looking straight to goal there. But it's a bit of a decoy because he's already had a look. He knows that someone is free in that V or the 45 metre inside forward 50. And there's that look. So he's looking there. And they always say as defenders, watch the eyes of the kicker. So no doubt that's what the defenders were doing. They were sucking Western Bulldogs, sucking back in line with where the goals are. But he's so clever with ball in hand, this guy. He's unbelievable and there it is. Sees it, bang. And because the Western Bulldogs had all been going back, that's where they were able to sum up and get their first goal. So this is the same sort of thing. So there's Curtin on the wing. There's his direct opponent right there. So the ball goes and sort of bumbles around at centre forward. And they get to intercept. And great awareness here from Cumming. But look, that's Curtin's direct opponent off the wing. Heading back. So what the Bulldogs players do, even here, there's separation. So good planning by the Adelaide Crows coaching staff. You can see Bailey Dale is heading back. So they're all trying to head back. They're all trying to zone off. But really clear instruction from Adelaide to not take that. And there's Curtin. Look at that separation there. So it was really well organised going forward. Tex Walker wins. Good one-on-one contest here. But just watch Keys in the top of right screen. He's pointing already. He's pointing to that space, whereas the Bulldogs players are heading back. Even these players here are heading back. And great awareness. And then Fogarty there is the one that ends up getting the chip inside forward 50. But Keys is pointing. Hasn't even moved yet, and now the kicker's in play. He's got his head down to kick. Keys hasn't even moved yet, so that's where the space is. The kicker puts Keys into that space. Love it. Great. And then great awareness here from Fogarty. His direct opponent's Rory Lobb, so Lobb needs to go on the mark. He just ducks around, hops into space. And look at 1, 2, 3, only on Thilthorpe going back. So they're just the ability for Western Bulldogs to go back. And then Fogarty just wraps around the back. Really smart play. Understands that his direct opponent needs to go on the mark. Bang, chip. Another goal. So really good awareness there. And look at all the numbers for Western Bulldogs. Look at them all. So this shows, so there's a stop play on the wing, or sort of half-forward flank. Rankin gets it. And it just shows you the structure they had in place going into this game, the homework they'd done. Rankin gets it, wins it, and look, he knows that there's numbers out there. You can see, and you can tell because he ends up kicking this goal, but you can see how the Bulldogs player is running really, really hard to try and spoil. That's because they'd spread the defence. They had this set up. So they were structurally set up really, really well when there was a stop play outside forward 50. Now, this is the play of the night, and I reckon this was a set play because the synergy, you've got Thilthorpe there, and you've got Tex Walker there. They're not together. Most of the some teams have their bigs pretty close together. But as I mentioned to you before, they like to isolate them. But this is a really good set play, and I love how they organise this. So what they're trying to do, and you can see that the play here makes this guy accountable. What they're trying to do, and it's a wonderful kick by Soligo, is they're trying to get into the corridor but dissect this zone. Once Soligo decides to go, so you can see that Thilthorpe is pointing, but once he understands, or once he sees the cue that they're going through the corridor, then it triggers not only Thilthorpe, but it also triggers Tex Walker to come at the ball. So it's a really good, I love this, it's a really good set play. So look at that movement from Neil Bullen. Just to go over, great. Now Tex Walker knows there's something going on, and Thilthorpe's already gone. He's already running. And as you'll see in the end product, that Keys is also there too, so it's definitely a set play. Great kick. Tex Walker into space. So, and this is the key too. This player to make this Bulldogs player accountable. Very important because you're clearing the space. As you saw when I showed you, they were standing out there. If this player doesn't actually run, then or run on this 45, this Bulldogs player can get in the way of Tex Walker. Great little chip up, great one. And Tex Walker knows this is a set play because he doesn't even think about it. Left foot, and he's really good. Look at that. Look how quick he gets it on his foot. Bang. Thilthorpe marks, kicks a goal, but look at Keys. Great set play. Love that. How they are able to go off the line, but then come and then switch off the line again. But that set play was awesome. Love this movement here from Dawson. Ability to go on the 45, identify when they have the ball in hand, but just the ability to take off. So they win the ball here, and he takes off at the right moment. But the key is to take off on a 45 because you're creating space laterally. And this is the key of knowing your teammate. So this play is all about knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your teammate, but knowing what leg they are, what foot they kick with, right or left. Dawson's gone. There he is. Great kick into space. Found it really well. So he gets back off the mark, and this is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your teammate. Tex Walker goes left. Now, normally when you're coaching, you go lead to the leg. So you'd sort of lead to the right when you've got a left footer. But because of the skill of this guy and understanding his strengths and weaknesses, as Tex Walker quickly identifies, he leads to the pocket. And you know how good he is with his left leg. Look at that kick. Pinpoint accuracy, and sets up a goal. So just awesome play there from a great kick from Dawson, but all round really good to actually understand and spread. And then this is the last play. So they win the ball on the half-back line, get through, and then just love this little dinky kick. Make him accountable. Great kick here. Just to kick into space, identify that early, lower the eyes, and just hit up. But to get back off the mark, this kick is unbelievable. So where's the space? The space is here, and the space is over the back. And Thilthorpe is pointing over the back. That's the favoured side. But he doesn't move until the ball is in the air. This is how good this kick is. So get back off the mark. He's still in line. Still in line with the kicker, Thilthorpe. But because this kick is so good and kicked into the space, it puts Thilthorpe there. And this is the kicking off the line again. They're already getting numbers back there for Bulldogs. This is just an awesome kick. Look at that. So he doesn't move. Thilthorpe's still standing there. He doesn't move until the ball is in the air. And look at that. And there's another goal. So looking through the footage, I just love the way they connected hand and foot, but particularly by foot. Ability to put their players into the position to kick off the line too. Not just tunnel vision, look at the goals. Oh, there's a free there, because they knew that the Bulldogs are going to zone off. So awesome play by Adelaide Crows last weekend. And look for, if you're watching the game this weekend, look for that. Look for those skills, kicking off the line, getting their opposition to actually then turn their head and be put off balance.